Hello and welcome to lifeconfident.com. And in today's live stream, I want to talk to you about that question: can I overcome shyness and social anxiety? It's a big question, isn't it? And it might be a question you've been asking yourself for many years. Or can I overcome it? And if so, how? And you may have asked it before in forums, and you might have got a mixed response. You might have got responses, well, no, you can't overcome it. You have to learn to live with it and adapt to it. And other people will say, well, yes, you can overcome it. And then there's a third group that says, well, yeah, you can overcome it, but... And then they attach conditions to it. Well, I don't like conditions being attached. And I don't like the idea of being told that, no, I can't overcome it, and that I've got to learn to live with it. Because then if I accept that, I'm accepting somebody else's belief set. And the person that is saying you can't overcome it is themselves completing the 360-degree circuit, which got them into social anxiety in the first place, because they accepted somebody else's belief, somebody else's instructions to them when they were probably younger, and they developed shyness and social anxiety out of being told that they weren't something, or they were this, or they were that. And now they are coming full circle to tell you that no, you can't overcome shyness and social anxiety. They are now imposing their belief on you, and thus completing the circle. Well, look, here's the short answer. Yes, you can overcome shyness and social anxiety, and yes, I am including shyness in that. And I'm going to take you through the logical levels again. Let's see the progression of how this works in a very superficial level. So, Robert Dilts' logical levels begins with the environment level. And we discussed with problem solving that if you have a problem that exists on one level, then you have to go to the next level to find the solution to it. Because most people, they'll try and find the solution at the same level that the problem exists at. Or they may even go to the level below, but they won't really realise that in order to solve the problem, you have to go to the next level above, or even 2 or 3 levels above, to find the solution to the problem that's on the current level. So, the first level is environment. So, this is where shyness and social anxiety first starts forming. We see behaviours, especially when we're very young. Let's say parents or guardians. Let's say they're acting, they have shyness or social anxiety, and they interact with the world with the cloak of shyness and social anxiety. And as young people, as very young children, and they're the dominant influence in our life, we watch how they interact with the world, and we learn to imitate it. We learn that that's how you interact with the world, and we over time begin to integrate it into our own mental files of how to interact with people. Either that, or we receive negative instructions. We're told certain things about ourselves from these parents or guardians or peers, teachers, wherever that is coming from. If it's an influential person in your life and they're telling you something about yourself, you don't have your own roadmap of life at that time, at that age. So of course, you're trusting to the adults in the world, and you believe what they're telling you, and you take it on board, and over time it becomes integrated into you, and your personality forms with this belief set that you're being imposed with. So that's the environment that you're living in, where shyness and social anxiety begins. What's the next level above environment is behaviours. So, you're now in the beginnings of shyness and social anxiety, and it's affecting your behaviour. We're moving up the levels to the behavioural level, and you're starting to take these instructions on board, what you're being told about yourself, and it's feeding into who you are. Perhaps you've had an experience, a humiliating experience, and that has fed, or it's reinforced, or it's accelerated the formation of your shyness and social anxiety persona. I call it the imposter. I don't accept that it's me and who I am. I believe it's a separate entity that's invading my ecosystem of my personality, and it's an invader, an imposter. That's how I've always looked at it. So, behavioural level, you're now behaving, your behaviour is being affected by these instructions, by the formation of this imposter in your life, this social anxiety imposter. And maybe you're now avoiding situations where you know that humiliation may occur, or where the spotlight of attention may fall on you. And so you're starting to avoid these scenarios, these situations. And if you can't avoid them, then you hide. You hide in full view. You make yourself look small. You hunch over. Your voice gets quieter. You sit at the back of the room. You do all these behaviours to make yourself look smaller and less noticeable. And these are all behaviours, of course. And then, over time, this feeds up into the next level, which is your skills level, your capabilities level. So, as you're getting older now, and you've been doing these avoidance behaviours for a certain length of time, you're denying yourself opportunities to develop skills. And staying with the theme of shyness and social anxiety, we're going to say that you're not getting the opportunity to develop your social skills because of your avoidance, whether it's in full view or whether you're outright avoiding situations and scenarios, which would allow you and help you to develop your social skills and your conversation skills. And of course, it can go wider. And let's say you avoid taking certain subjects. Let's say you're getting to the end of your school life, and it's that time where you decide whether to move on to university. And let's say you've had such a bad experience in school that you decide there's no point going on to university because you know that you're not going to be able to learn, you're not going to be able to fully open up to it and commit to it, because perhaps it requires cooperation with other people, or perhaps you just know that you're not academic and you can't learn. It's all part and parcel of this imposter persona, which is telling you that you can't do it. And that persona is using the voice of those people in your formative years that were telling you those very same things, or it's been informed by situations that happened. So that's environment, behaviours, skills and capabilities. Now what's next? It's your values, your beliefs. We're at level 4 now. Your beliefs and your value system. And of course, if your social anxiety is reaching this level, how much has it penetrated into this level? Because we're looking for the solution here, and we're looking to go above to the next level to find the solution. So what we're doing here is looking to see how far up the pyramid your social anxiety has developed. If it's reached the belief level, then we can't use the belief level to find the solution. But if you're still at the skills and capabilities level, then we can find the solution at the beliefs level. If you're at the environment level, then we can go up to the next level, the behaviours level. If it's reached the behaviours level, then we can reach up to the next level. But now we're at the belief level. So, what do you believe about yourself? Do you believe that this personality, this imposter persona is you? Do you believe that you are one and the same person, and that you are now this identity that has formed over the years? Your behaviours, your beliefs, the whole ecosystem of you, is that you? Is that your personality? Are you that person? Or are you still able to believe that you're capable of overcoming this? Can we go into the belief level and find the solution? Or are you now committed to believing that you can't change? Because I've seen in forums, I've seen people ask, and I started out the live stream this way, people asking, can you overcome social anxiety? And people say, no, you can't, you have to live with it. And for the people that say that, their social anxiety has reached the belief level. They are now there. It's like creeping ivy. It's crept into that level. It's gone that high on their pyramid. And they believe what they're saying. Unfortunately, it's robbing the person that's asked. It's robbing them of hope that they can overcome it, because they may not yet be at that level. They may be at a lower level, at the skills and capabilities level, at the behaviour level. And they are looking, they are reaching out for the answer, and somebody at a higher level is telling them that no, you can't overcome it. And that's taking away their belief and their hope that their entire life is not this persona, this box of feelings and frustrations that they're feeling at this moment in time. So if you've got full penetration at the belief level, then for you need to go the next level up. And there is another level. It's the spirituality level. Now, I'm not going there. I don't know. It's not a level that I go to. It's not something within my personal realm of real experience. I've never needed to go there. Belief, social anxiety never 100% penetrated me at the belief level. And I was able to get in the belief level. And I was always strong at the belief level that I could overcome this. And I always drew strength from it, that I could overcome it. I never accepted that this imposter persona was me and who I was. I always saw it as two separate identities. My original personality blueprint for life that I was born with before this imposter came along. And like with a vial of ink, and you drop it into a glass of clear water, and then it colours the water, and you see it spread out and contaminate that clear water with its colour. And that's what I see the personality imposter doing, this social anxiety imposter. It comes along and it pollutes your original blueprint personality for life. But it's still there. It still exists within you. Although it's not being brought out into the sunlight for maybe many years, but it's still there. So now I've answered the question, I believe, that you can overcome shyness and social anxiety. And if you're a person that doesn't believe you can, then you need to go to a higher level if you're prepared to do so, the spirituality level, to look for your answer. But I'm talking to the people right now that are still at a lower level, and they don't have full penetration at the belief level, and so they believe, and because they're asking, because you're asking the question, can I overcome social anxiety? That means that you don't believe that you can't. So you still have the flexibility to find the solution at the belief level and change your beliefs about yourself. So then the question now becomes, how do you overcome shyness and social anxiety? And I base the mental health master plan on a formula, a 3-part formula. I call it the PPF formula, the past, present and future. And you'll remember I've talked about in previous live streams that when you have a problem, you either learn to live with it, you try to change it, or you leave it. Now, you've done the learning to live with it part, okay? And that's not working for you. Of course it's not. Who wants to live with it? Who wants to make friends with it and roll with it? I certainly don't. I'm better than that, I'm stronger than that, and I think you are too. Can you leave it? No, because it's now integrated into you. So you can't just walk away from it. So you have to change it first. And then ultimately in the end you will walk away from it. So how are we doing this? With the PPF formula, the past, present, future. First, you have to go back into the past and address the origins of how they started developing them in the first place. And there are techniques and strategies for doing this. It's not something I'm going to go into depth with on this live stream, but I'll link you to a resource, a book that I've written. It's 120 pages. It's not a big book. It's free as well. And so that details different therapy systems, including the mental health master plan. And it gives you a variety of options on how to approach and how to deal with your social anxiety. And it's structured using the PPF formula, the past, present and future. So it gives you the therapy systems, the treatment types that are suitable for dealing with the past. And then it'll tell you which therapy systems are appropriate, are suitable for the present and then the future. So that's the past, dealing with and overcoming, overwriting those social anxiety, those shyness programs that have formulated in your mind and that are running your day-to-day life. Once we can overwrite them and stop them from influencing your present, then we can move into the present of the formula and we start replacing those anxiety programs. Think of them like viruses, computer viruses, little programs that get into your system and they change everything else. So now we're in the present. We've got rid of those. Well, we've not got rid of them yet. We've overridden them. We've reprogrammed them, but they're still there. But we don't need to access them. We've isolated them, and we're in the present. And now we need to replace them with confidence strategies, and that's what the present is all about: building up your confidence. Think of it like this: you've got a woods or a forest, and you've got a little path going through that forest. Imagine Little Red Riding Hood walking along that path in the forest, and she's always going to Grandma's. Now, Grandma's is in the past, right? And she's walking that same path, and the wolf always leaps out on that same path, and that's a social anxiety wolf, right? I'm making this up as I go along, by the way, this analogy, but I think it can work. Now, as you move into the present, what we've done in the past part of the formula is we have cut off that path. We've put up a roadblock, an out of order sign, and we've put diversions in place. So we're not walking that same path anymore, that well-trodden path to Grandma's house where the social anxiety imposter lives. And we're going to define a new path, a path that leads to confidence. And the wolf doesn't know about this path, and at first it's overgrown, so we need to walk that path a few times and make it well trodden. And what we're doing is training our brain to start using this new path and ignore this old path so that over time this path becomes overgrown and it just doesn't get used anymore. And we use the new path that leads to confidence strategies and confidence programming in your mind that will automatically get triggered in environments and scenarios where before you would have had a social anxiety reaction. But now we're training your brain to tread a new path that will lead to automatic triggers of confidence instead. Now, you hear or you see programs that say, stop smoking in 30 days, lose weight in 30 days, overcome shyness, social anxiety in 30 days. They always seem to use this magical 1 month, 28 day, 38 day sort of window. And they always say that to change a habit takes 30 days. Well, it doesn't. It's a great start. If you're a smoker and you want to quit smoking, those first 30 days, the first 8 days, in fact, are the hardest to overcome. The 30 days, it starts changing your system. The nicotine comes out of your system. And your certain internal organs and your skin, they all start changing and renewing within that 30-day window. Other organs take a lot longer to change and to renew themselves, and our bodies are constantly renewing. I think there's some organs that don't ever renew. Some take a few years to renew, and some take weeks and months. And you can Google this and you can find out. I'm going off on a little tangent here. But that's the way it is. And I'm relating it to smoking right now. But whether it's weight loss or changing the habit of anything, 30 days is a great start. It's a great window to begin. And if it was smoking, then you're cleansing your body within that 30 days. And you're feeling better. But to overcome it in your mind, to change the program in your mind, 30 days is a great start. But it takes maybe a minimum of 6 months and up to 2 years for that original path to get overgrown completely, and for your brain to learn to automatically start using the new path to confidence. And that's just the way it is. If you've ever had a breakup with somebody, you don't get over that breakup and the absence of that person from your life. You don't get over that within 30 days. You're stuck with those feelings and that void in your life for at least 6 months and maybe as much as 2 years. It's different for different people. So you can't say, well, you're going to be over it within 30 days time or 60 days or 6 months. For somebody else it can be 2 years. Everybody's different, so you can't shuttle everybody into the same pigeonhole. So that's the present level, building confidence strategies to replace the anxiety strategies. And if you're a smoker, by the way, and you have quit, you need to do the same principle. You need to replace that smoking habit, that habit of lifting your fingers, your hand to your mouth with a cigarette. And you need to replace it with a healthy habit like chewing gum or something like that. You need to replace the habit. Because I've seen lifelong smokers, they'll sit there with a pen in the hand if they're writing, and subconsciously they'll be still smoking with a pen. They have no idea they're doing it, but I can see it happening in their body language. It's muscle memory, they're still doing it. So it's very important to move on to the present stage and replace whatever habit you're breaking with something healthy and something new. In our case, it's confidence strategies. And then what's in the future? What's future stage 3? Well, stage 3 is social skills and conversation skills. Now you may have had we've talked about it. You've denied yourself all those opportunities throughout your life at the behavioural level because you're doing avoidance behaviours, and you've not had the opportunity, you've not been in the right places to develop those social skills. And so you're behind right now and you need to do some catching up. So future stage 3, we've built a nice platform, a solid platform of confidence with which to stack these social skills on top of. And I've written my own resource. I call it the Switch Conversation System, and it's designed specifically for people who get an anxiety-induced blank minds in conversation. Now, I'm not here to promote that. I'm just saying that I've been through the journey myself, the 3 stages, the past, the present, and the future. And I've got to the future, and I've done my own developing of the social skills, and I've written the book on it. And it's specifically for people that are on the same journey as me. And of course, if you want to take it to the next level, if you want to consolidate those social skills, the best way to do so is to teach other people. It's the same in any environment, whatever skill you're learning, whether it's a doctor or a dentist or any other profession. You learn it through textbooks, whatever the process is for your skill. You learn it, and then eventually, to consolidate that learning, you teach it to other people. It's very much the principle in martial arts. You first learn the martial arts, the skills, the movements, the philosophy from the teacher and from other more advanced students. And then you become the advanced student and you teach it to the newer people coming into it. And that in that way, you are learning yourself by re-teaching the skills that you've learned and keeping them fresh in your own mind. And that's what I did. That's why I wrote the Switch Conversation System, to teach people what I've learned and the strategies that I've developed. And I think they're pretty unique. I don't think there's anything else like them out there. Because all the conversation books you can pick off the shelf and they will tell you about how to speak or what to do in this situation, or a series of questions, strategies to ask people. But what if you've got social anxiety and you're in that social situation and your mind closes through anxiety and it closes up and your mind goes blank? What good is all those books in the world with all those strategies if you can't remember them because your mind has closed down in that freeze, flight, fight mode where your brain feels under threat and all you can think about is escaping the situation? This is a primeval response from your original brain, your reptilian brain they call it. And what's happening is that all your resources in your body are being diverted into your muscles, priming you for rapid action, to escape, to run away. And it's taking resources from your higher thinking, your cognitive abilities, your reasoning. And that's why your brain is closing down and you can't think of anything to say in those situations. When your mind just goes blank, maybe you're giving a speech or a presentation and you might have rehearsed it for months and months and you might know the material inside out, but then your mind goes blank and you just don't have access to all that material. And it's because your body's in that flight and fight mode and it's diverting all those responses into your muscles, all that adrenaline, so you might feel yourself shaking. That's your adrenaline overload, as your body is priming you for escaping. So that's what I'm covering a lot of ground here. But anyway, that's what's happening. So that's why it's important to put in the groundwork before you get to future stage 3, so that you've trained your body not to have those anxiety responses, or to even even once you've done all this, let's say you want to go on stage and give a presentation, you're still going to feel anxiety responses, but they're at a level where you can easily control them and you can put them into perspective and you can reframe them and you can shrink them down and put them in a corner and then go out on stage. But you're still going to feel some anxiety, some butterflies. That's human nature, and it's good because you can feed off it at the same time. But that's why this is so important, to do the past, present and future in the right order, so that you have that toolbox when it comes to doing whatever you're doing in the future stage 3. Get rid of shyness and social anxiety in the past, address those original situations that occurred, whatever it was for you personally. Move into the present, replace those anxiety responses with confidence responses. Build a platform of confidence within yourself. Move on to the future and social skills to build a house on that platform of confidence. And that's it. That's all I want to say. But the entire message of this live stream is that simple fact that I want to get across to you, that you can beat shyness and social anxiety. You can do it. And I want you to have that belief and that hope. And I'll put a link in the description for this live stream to that resource that I talked about, that book that tells you, informs you about the different therapy systems. It doesn't cover everything. It doesn't cover drugs that you can take. I don't believe in taking drugs to overcome social anxiety. It might be the right solution for you. It's not something I've ever done, so I don't know about them. I only know what I've read other people doing about it. Medications they've taken, and everybody seems to respond differently. Some people will have a good reaction with one drug. Another person will have a poor response and have lots of side effects with the same drug. So again, it's different for everybody. But ultimately, medications and drugs are just a plaster over the original wound, and we need to go back to the origins and heal that wound. We don't need to put a plaster over it. We need to heal the wound and then make ourselves strong with confidence, and then build our social skills and our charisma for interacting with the world, building relationships, friend networks, partnerships, families, with what we do in the future stage 3. Okay, if you're still here, thanks a lot for being patient and once again watching all the way through a 30-minute plus live stream. And I hope you're here for the next one, whatever that subject will be.